Hey guys, welcome back to Exploring Temecula. In today's video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of buying versus renting in Temecula and Murrieta in 2023. I have not done a video about these in over 3 years, so I thought I'd do an updated video. There are some things that I could say have changed, and I just wanted to give you, the person that might be thinking of moving to Temecula, an idea of whether or not buying or renting is better for you at this point in time. One of the things that I want to stress for people, regardless of whether you're moving to Temecula, Murrieta, or some other part of California or the United States, find somebody local that knows the market. When I talk about the pros and cons of renting versus buying in Temecula, they're almost different than 20 miles down the road in San Diego. So, a lot of the things that I might say on this video are not going to pertain to anywhere else but this local market. So again, that was just a side note. Regardless of where you're moving, find somebody very local that understands, what the pros and cons are for that specific market. We're a licensed brokerage appraisal team here in Temecula. We've got, my wife's been an appraiser for 23, 24 years. I've been a broker for a long time, way over 10. So if you have any specific questions about the market in general, please reach out. We really try through this channel and just overall to help people. I mean, if you want to work with me, great. If not, I'd be happy to talk with you, even if you're coming here on vacation. Give me a shout. I can give you restaurant recommendations, things to do, things not to do, or things that are overrated, all of that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the video, buying versus renting in Temecula and Murrieta in 2023. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna talk about buying first, and we're gonna go into the pros of purchasing in Temecula and Murrieta. First one being the overall community, whether it's schools, safety, restaurants, things to do, growth, all of those things are, and I'm not gonna say whether the market's gonna go up and down over a short period of time, because I don't think anybody knows that. But if you take, let's just say in the next 10 years, there is no doubt in my mind that this area, because of the things that I talked about, is going to go up. The market's going to go up. Temecula is going to have a huge growth in wineries over the next 10 years. What's that going to do? It's going to bring in people for vacations. They're going to see the area. They're going to want to move here. And again, school, safety, things to do. All of those things are going to contribute to an uptick in the market long term. So I think that it's a very good investment to purchase property in either of these cities. Okay, so next up, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's obvious for a lot of people, but the tax benefits. Make sure you talk to your tax guy or girl, writing off your mortgage interest, that sort of thing. I don't know all the ins and outs, and I don't want to really talk about it here, but that is definitely a benefit for many people. Okay, so next up, and I can tell you this is a big thing for a lot of people, having the control to do whatever you want with your home. So personally, I want to have a lot of fruit trees. I want to, maybe put on solar. I want to do the things to my house that I couldn't do when I'm renting. My tastes are different than many other people, and I'm sure a lot of things that I would like to do, the owner of the property would not like. So it lets you bring out your uniqueness, what you like in your home, which brings, in my opinion, a good quality of life. When you're able to do things to your home that specifically you want to do, bring up your home's value, there's definitely satisfaction in that. Okay, so next up, and I've talked about this in my previous video, I think, or one of my previous videos, in 2023, coming up in Temecula and Murrieta, you are going to have more options and be able to pick the home that might be, you might get 7 or 8 things out of 10, when 6 months ago you were getting 4 and 5, simply because you were competing against 10 offers in 30 minutes with cash offers, $100,000 over. So I think 2023 in particular is going to be an awesome opportunity for many people to not only get in a home, but get in a home that they really love. And because the homes on average are staying on the market now for 20 to 40 days. So you are going to be able to see many homes and have options and availability for everything or almost everything that you're looking for in a home, which obviously is a great thing for buyers. Okay, the last couple things I've touched on. If you have kids, the schools are great here. The schools are great in Murrieta. A lot of people move. I can tell you firsthand experience, many of the buyers that I work with throughout America, even over in Europe, one of the reasons they've picked Temecula is number one, affordability. Number two, they have kids. And they really like the schools, and number three, the weather. So those are the three things that, in my opinion, most of my feedback from buyers are. Finally, I touched on it earlier, but the winery region of Temecula is going to grow. You know, I'm hearing up to 100 wineries within the next 10 or 15 years. If that happens, this will definitely be a vacation destination for a lot of people, which will help property values. There's 15 million people in Southern California alone. And I can tell you, moving forward, as the wine country grows, as people start to learn about Temecula, not only the tourism, but the want to move here because of everything that I've just talked about is going to be very good for property values overall long term. Okay guys, so now the cons of purchasing a property in Murrieta and Temecula in 2023. First one being just the upfront cost, down payment, closing costs, the monthly payment if you're unable to put that big chunk of cash down. There are ways around it as a buyer. I mean, I'm seeing a lot now of the seller offering to buy down the rate, which can help. But overall, you're definitely going to be paying more to purchase a property than actually renting a property. So that would definitely be a con. Okay guys, so next up, maintenance, repair costs are all going to be on you. If you're not handy, you're going to have to pay for somebody to do those things. So just be aware that labor costs, everything it seems has gone up. So, to get somebody out to fix something for under $200 just seems, impossible today. So just keep that in mind. Now, what I can tell you is that when you are purchasing a home, you're going to have a home inspection. So overall, you're going to have a pretty good idea of the home. Now, there's always little things when you move in. I just had a buyer close a couple weeks ago. The washer and dryer, or the hoses for the washer were corroded, so they had to replace those. Something went wonky with the electrical panel, so they had to get somebody out for that. It seems even with the home inspection, and just to be upfront, even with the home inspection, when you move in, there's going to be quirks on that home, especially if it's a little older, that you're just going to have to deal with or fix yourself. So keep that in mind. Another thing that's very difficult, and one of the reasons I'm bringing this up now is because I actually, thought about it the other day with this buyer, but even if you get a roof cert, even if you have an inspector go on the roof and see that there's no broken roof tiles, many times, because it does not rain in Southern California very often, even the seller doesn't know the roof leaks. We could not have rain for 6 months. The seller sells the home. The first massive rainstorm, you have a leaky roof. So that is, again, an added cost that you could incur purchasing property. But those are just like little things, and I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but just to keep an eye out and understand when you're buying a home in Southern California. Okay, so now getting into renting, and we're going to talk about the pros of renting first off. And number one, generally speaking, the cost to get in a rental is going to be less than purchasing a property. Now, having said that, rental prices have gone up. So just giving you an idea, if you're planning on renting, the average rental here in Temecula and Murrieta is going to run from about $2,900 to $3,400. Oftentimes they want at least first and last month's rent. Sometimes they want first, last, and security. And then also they're going to pull your credit, and they many times want to see 3 times income for that rental payment. So what I tell people, it's crazy, but it's almost harder now to qualify for a rental than it is purchasing a property. But anyway, it's definitely going to be less expensive to get in a rental property than purchasing a property in either city. Okay, next up, flexibility. If you don't like Temecula, if you don't like Murrieta, you can leave after a year, maybe even 6 months, depending on the lease agreement. So it gives you, the option to, hey, I don't like North Temecula, but I really like Red Hawk area down south. Let's go move or buy a home there. If, for work, I don't like the drive going north because of the traffic. Let's move farther north in Temecula or even in Murrieta to cut off drive time. So it gives you some time to figure out whether or not you like it here before you move forward and purchasing a property, and what neighborhoods you like, what part of the city you like. Overall though, there's not one part of the city of maybe Murrieta, but for Temecula, there's not really one part of the city that's better than the next. It's just personal preference, in my opinion. And finally, you're gonna not have the cost, as I mentioned, when you're purchasing a property, you're not gonna have the cost of fixing things. The owner is going to take you. Water heater breaks, you get it fixed. Electrical panel, something goes funky on that, the owner fixes. The roof goes bad, owner fixes. So that's definitely a pro for many people when renting property. Okay, so next up, cons of renting a property in Temecula and Murrieta. First thing, rental costs have gone through the roof. I remember 2-3 years ago, you could find a nice rental for $2,300. Now that has gone up literally $1,000. So 1/3 of the cost in a very short amount of time. So be aware that not only is it hard to find a rental, you're definitely going to be spending more than what you would have thought you were going to spend even 2 years ago. Okay, next up, not too much time, limited control on what you're going to do with the home. You can't make it yours totally. So, in my opinion, that for a lot of people, that's just not the ideal thing that they're looking for quality of life. Finally, I mentioned it earlier in the video, it is very hard to qualify for a rental. And I wanted to add something to this. A lot of times these rental agencies are asking you to fill out a credit report that costs you $40, and it has to be per person that's renting. They're going to be on the lease, and then you don't get the house, and you're going through 3 or 4 or 5 of these, and you're down $300-400 and you still don't have a rental. So keep that in mind. It's definitely frustrating for renters, especially, you don't even know. There's a lot of people that are running these scams that I've read that, they have a home, they're just collecting this, credit report money. They're collecting. They never really rent the property. Now, it's probably rare, but my point is on this is just be careful. Make sure that the rental agency is legit and they have good reviews on Google, that sort of thing, before you just start sending $80 every time for a credit report check. So there you have it, guys. 2023, renting versus buying in Temecula and Murrieta. Hopefully that helped you, gave you a few pointers on sort of what the current state of the market is. Please reach out and call me anytime. I'm telling you, I will help you with whatever you need in regards to questions. So until next time, from Exploring Temecula, thank you very much.